All right, welcome everyone to today's ServiceNow Impact Academy. Today's topic will be about access to expertise, a new elevated experience to deploy platform expertise to our Impact customers. I'll start off with a few admin and housekeeping items before a more formal introduction to myself. Then we'll jump right into the content and a quick demo. Most of you are probably familiar with this slide, but for those seeing this for the first time, this is our safe harbor. Today's presentation may include forward-looking statements, but we cannot guarantee such plans shared today will be achieved. Today's session is also a part of our Live on ServiceNow series and meetups. We encourage you to browse our current schedule via the QR code on the screen and join any and all that are of interest to you or any of your peers. We'll also be sharing the direct link in the chat. And a few housekeeping mentions. You should all see a Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Please leverage the Q&A button rather than the chat feature if you have any questions throughout today's event. And I have my colleague Kington supporting me in the background who will help answer any questions that you may have and capture real-time feedback as we receive them. We've also left time towards the end for Q&A. This presentation is also going to be recorded and we'll be uploading it to the ServiceNow community. And after today's event, you'll be invited to participate in a very brief survey regarding today's webinar. Feedback is a gift and always appreciated, so thank you in advance. Now to formally introduce myself, hello everyone, my name is Jenica Soy. I'm going on my 6th year here at ServiceNow, and over the past 5 years, I've had the privilege of being in the field with amazing customers and partners like yourselves in both a product and a customer success capacity. At the beginning of this year, I joined our Technical Accelerators at Scale team as our delivery director for the exciting Impact initiative I get to share with you all today. And here's a quick snapshot of today's webinar flow. I'll get us quickly oriented on our Impact Expert Assist channels and customer feedback. I'll present a brief overview of what access to expertise is, followed by a demo. Then we'll wrap up with some Q&A. And if for any reason we can't answer all of your questions today, Kington and I will review and follow up with the webinar host, Srey, with all of the answers to your questions. Okay, let's jump in. In a second or so, you should all see your first Zoom poll pop up on the screen. Question is, have you had any experience with Impact advisory sessions and/or Expert Connect? We'll give folks a few seconds to respond. Excellent. Thanks everybody for participating. So the results are about 16% of you said yes, you have participated or have had experience with advisory sessions and or Expert Connects, and about 84% of you have said no. So if you're new to Impact, or for the 80% of you who are unfamiliar with either offering, here's a quick intro. Advisory sessions are half-day customer-requested workshops led by ServiceNow experts. And these are to be consumed on a quarterly cadence, allowing you to dive into deep topics pertaining to your product or your platform portfolio. I've also included the entitlement breakdown for both our advanced and total customers below on the left side column, as they do differ by product packaging. Now, Expert Connects are 1-hour technical how-to sessions, which is a part of our Technical Accelerator catalog. Now, both are a part of our Impact Expert Assist channels, which are designed to provide prescriptive platform guidance to impact advanced and total customers today. And each bring very unique value in helping you realize your strategic business outcomes. But for our Impact Advanced and Total customers, we heard your feedback. Here are some of the top themes you shared with us, as you can see on the screen. Most notably, the top 3 being the most trending. So your feedback highlighted areas for improvement and showed us that some experiences could be more seamless for you and your teams. Now, access to expertise, or ATE for short, you'll be represented in the customer and journey experience on the left-hand side. This journey is the customer experience you as Impact customers are expecting, and this is the customer experience that Access to Expertise is committed to delivering. The primary pain point Access to Expertise aims to address is your need for faster and more personalized platform expertise outside of your Impact Squad and existing accelerator catalog. Access to Expertise will transform how you'll access platform expertise with a structured, scalable, and tech-enabled experience. We've designed a unified entry point offering well-defined specialized guidance on various platform topics, positioned to accelerate your value realization and outcomes. This will result in faster response and resolution times, access to a broader pool of platform experts, tailored and consistent quality of expertise, and you'll have full control and visibility over your requests. Now, I'd love to share a quick demo of the Impact customer experience with Access to Expertise. Now, I've logged in to Impact as Emily, a platform owner at ServiceNow Impact Academy, and I'm in need of guidance around migrating from Service Portal to Employee Center. I've consulted my Impact Squad, but they don't have the specified technical expertise to advise on this. And I've also spent some time browsing and searching our accelerator catalog, but I didn't immediately find an accelerator aligned to my specific needs. So I'll create a new initiative and select Access to Expertise. It will be found under our General Initiatives catalog. I'll review the initiative details and understand that there are 5 possible resolution paths for my request. However, I'm confident that my Impact Squad will provide me with the necessary support throughout all of these paths. I'll select Get Started and be met with a digital intake form. Now, I've gone ahead and pre-filled out a separate intake form. And you'll see that this intake form helps me summarize and prioritize my request, linking it directly to my business objectives and the implementation phase. It also guides me in identifying expertise needed and whether it's related to a product that I'm currently entitled to. And to avoid any confusion, I'll only see workflow and product topics that are relevant to my current entitlements. I'll also have the opportunity to provide additional information on any research or materials I may have reviewed prior to submitting this request. And lastly, I have the option to nominate any of my peers to lead or support in this engagement. Now, once I press submit, I'll see a completed access to expertise initiative where I have full visibility and can track the status of my request. The backend ServiceNow orchestration to fulfill this request is not visible in this initiative view, but it's worth calling out the following. Within 5 business days of submitting your access to expertise request and impact, you will be informed whether or not it would be fulfilled via access to expertise or if another one of the 5 resolution paths is more suitable. Within 10 business days of your access to expertise request being accepted, you will have had an expert session with one of our ServiceNow experts. And after that expert session, you can contact that ServiceNow expert for an additional 10 business days with any further follow-up questions. And if needed, that expert can arrange a follow-up session. All deliverables and assets will be uploaded to my Access to Expertise initiative for future reference, even if it's marked completed. And as of May 17th, Access to Expertise has been available to all restricted release for renewing and new Impact Advanced and Total customers, with general availability for Impact customers, including guided packaging, planned for February of 2025. Heading back to the presentation. So for Impact Advanced and Total customers who do not currently have access to expertise, we are offering an opportunity for you to opt in for early access. This gives you access to A to E between now and our February general availability. And if you choose to do so, we'll proactively reach out to your Impact squad to enable this feature for you. So you'll be met with a poll if you do choose to opt in. You can provide us with your information now. Thanks, Thomas. Tracy, I see your hand raised as well. I assume the poll hasn't showed up for folks yet. There we go. Thank you. Thanks everyone for those opting in. I'll start to transition over to some Q&A. We have two currently submitted. If anybody else has any additional questions, we've got some time here to address them. The very first one that I will address is from Rosemary. The question is, can you please tell me the other 5 resources besides A2E that are available? So I'll switch over back to the demo. First things first, prior to submitting a general initiative or an ATE, we always recommend browsing the accelerator catalog. The use case that I shared today was a migration from Service Portal to Employee Center Pro. So if I were to go into our accelerator catalog, which are prefix scoped engagements, and type in Employee Center, you'll be met with a handful of fixed scoped engagements that may touch on addressing some of the requests that you have or needs that you have. The difference between these fixed scoped engagements versus access to expertise, and this kind of touches on the second Q&A question, is that access to expertise is tailored and personalized to your requirements and your use case. So some of these accelerators may feel pretty rigid or too prescriptive when working against your technical requirements or your business outcomes. But we always recommend starting here, as these accelerators are prefixed and readily available for you to engage in. They're also delivered by a team of subject matter experts within ServiceNow. So they're not all self-serving. They do have support from our ServiceNow SMEs. So that's the first route that I would recommend. Now, if we were to go into the general initiatives, back to the Access to Expertise Initiative overview, if you scroll down to outputs, these are the 5 possible resolution paths outside of access to expertise. So a common one that we receive often from customers is, could somebody please provide us with a demo of an entitlement or a product capability that we already have licenses for? This often happens if the team is growing or there was a recent investment where a part of the organization may not have been a part of that sales motion. So as a part of their onboarding, they want a demo of that capability. Typically, those requests are handled by our account team or your account team, specifically your solutions consultant, for requests that are pertaining to products not entitled today. However, if they are pertaining to entitlements for products that you have, that would route to access to expertise. So these are rerouting opportunities for engagements or requests that ATE may not be in scope for. But again, I want to underline that if ATE is not the best path forward, that your impact squad will shepherd you through the right path of resolution. Hopefully that answers that question, Rosemary. Please let me know if you'd like me to elaborate further. And then the second question we have for Q&A is, those are really good feedback comments on Expert Connect. What is being done to improve or incorporate those comments to provide how-to and not just a list of to-dos? Impact provides an instance to show you how to. We need the expert professional to meet us where we are and to assist us with how to resolve the issue we are facing. High support doesn't provide the how-to, so Impact should be filling in the gap. So whomever submitted that Q&A, completely agree. It was the driving sentiment around us building access to expertise out, was so that we could meet our customers where they're at. Again, the feedback around accelerators were sometimes they feel a little too rigid and they don't necessarily transpose perfectly or in a valuable way to what you need from the product or the platform. So we've done a couple of things. We've expanded our pool of experts to fulfill these requests. And these experts range from different functions here at ServiceNow. You have a pool of experts representing impact delivery. So think of the resources that you have assigned to you from the impact squad. We also have our technical accelerators at scale team and technical consultants within that function that have really deep product and platform expertise in certain areas of our workflow. They're often the same subject matter experts who deliver our technical accelerators. You'll have expert services resources. So for those who have an active implementation with ServiceNow, either a business process consultant or a technical consultant from expert services is now a part of our pool of experts. And lastly, for those familiar with product success, we have product success architects as well, who really have that knowledge around implementation oversight, technical validation, and best practices that may be nuanced to your implementation or your configuration of the platform. So that's one of the biggest investments is we've opened up that pool of support. Secondarily to that, access to expertise is really focused in on prescriptive, actionable guidance that is unique to your use cases. So we go through the effort of qualifying and facilitating discovery in the request and really making sure that we understand your needs and your problem statement to solve for. For those who may have triggered any of our technical accelerators, there's also technical accelerators that allow us to make an instance copy where we can facilitate scans of your configuration. And so those efforts in the background as well allow us to really give you prescriptive and actionable guidance. Hopefully that answers the second question. Got one more that just came through. Will these resources help with customizations and scripting, or can they only help with out-of-the-box solutions? Really great question. So our SMEs are really focused in on out-of-the-box configuration and solution overviews and technical validations. Typically with customizations and scripting, we lean on our implementation partners or the partner whom is supporting you, whether it's in-house development teams or if you've done that third party. There are engagements in where we can validate or review what you've configured, but delving into customizations and scripting would be out of scope for access to expertise. We will provide steering, right? Technical steering or actionable steering to make sure that you're at least adhering to best practices or recommendations with consideration for future roadmap capabilities. Typically, when we see customers come in with a customization or scripting, deviating away from out of the box, it's usually because the product or the platform today does not provide that out of the box. So we want to get that feedback. We want to make sure that that's routed to the right business unit and product teams for future roadmap considerations. But specifically for actionable guidance, to be clear, it would be out of scope for access to expertise. Really great questions. So I see a couple of hands up. We have a hand up from Tracy and we have a hand up from David. If either of you have a question, please leverage the Q&A and I can do my best to address them. Okay. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to use, David, no worries. Feel free to use the Q&A feature. One last resource that I want to share with all of you before we part ways. So although we are still in restricted release for access to expertise until February, our documentation page is up to date. So if you'd like further information just around the scope around access to expertise, you can navigate directly into our documentation and you'll be met with all of the information here. And for those who have opted in for early access, we will review that list and work directly with your impact squads to enable that feature for you. And if there are no more questions, we can wrap up a little early today. Hopefully this was valuable for those who have dialed in. And thank you so much for taking some time out of your Friday to join us. And hopefully we'll see you again very soon.